So, in this hyper-connected, often remote world we're all living in, what actually makes an employee want to stick around? It's a huge question for any leader. Well, some fascinating new research might have just unlocked the answer, and it really boils down to three specific keys.
Ever feel kind of disconnected at work? Like you're just not as plugged in or engaged as you used to be. If you felt that, you are definitely not alone. And as it turns out, there's a real science to understanding what's going on.
And we're not just throwing ideas around here. We're diving into a brand new study that surveyed almost 700 employees to figure out exactly what drives loyalty in a modern workplace. And honestly, the results are pretty surprising. Okay, so first let's set the stage. The researchers were looking into what they saw as a growing issue, a real crisis in employee commitment, one that's really being fueled by our big shift to digital work. And this isn't just some vague feeling. The study pointed to actual, tangible warning signs. Things like leaders feeling out of touch with their teams, using outdated tools that make work a slog, and of course, that classic shift in behavior, employees showing up late but leaving the second the clock hits 5. It all points to a major drop in loyalty. So, to find a solution, the researchers went somewhere really interesting and pretty high stakes.
And we're not talking about a tiny little survey either. They talked to 678 employees. That's a serious amount of data, which means the findings are solid.
Now, here's the cool part. This study was done at Indonesia's immigration office. Just think about that for a second. These folks are literally the gatekeepers of an entire country. It's a super high-pressure job where commitment is non-negotiable. The thinking was, if we can figure out what drives loyalty here, those lessons could probably apply just about anywhere.
So, after crunching all that data, the researchers found that it all came down to three crucial factors, three keys, if you will, that can unlock employee commitment. Let's break them down. Key number 1 is something called e-leadership. Now, this is way more than just being a boss who knows how to use Slack or Zoom. It's about a leader's real ability to build trust and motivate their team, using a smart mix of new digital tools and good old-fashioned leadership skills. And I really like how the study puts this. It's not about a job title. It's about action. It's what a leader does to get everyone pulling in the same direction, working together effectively, whether they're in the same room or spread out all over the place.
All right, let's get to the second key, the e-work environment. And this one is a biggie. It's basically everything that surrounds you at work, from the software on your laptop and the chair you're sitting in, all the way to how you get along with your boss and your teammates. It's the whole shebang. And just look at how wide-ranging this idea of an e-work environment is. The study looked at everything. The physical stuff like lighting and air quality, the size of your workspace, the tools you're given, and then all the non-physical stuff like the vibe you have with your coworkers and your managers. It really is the complete package. So our third and final key is e-job satisfaction. And really, this one is all about an employee's emotional state. It's that core feeling they have about their job, whether they have a generally positive or negative vibe about the work they do day in and day out. This quote from the study just nails it. Satisfaction is all about balance. It's that sweet spot where an employee feels that what they're putting in is being fairly recognized and rewarded by the company. When that balance is right, satisfaction just skyrockets. Okay, so we've got our three keys: e-leadership, e-work environment, and e-job satisfaction. The researchers had a hunch about each one. So did the data back them up? Let's find out. First up, e-leadership. The theory was that great leaders create more committed employees. And the data came back with a big, clear answer. Confirmed. Absolutely a positive and significant link. Next, the e-work environment. The question here, does a better workplace, physically and culturally, lead to more loyalty? Again, the data showed a clear positive connection. That's another one confirmed. And finally, e-job satisfaction. You guessed it, the data confirmed this one too, showing a major positive effect. So there it is. All three keys are proven winners when it comes to unlocking employee commitment. But wait. This is where it gets really interesting. The study didn't just say, yep, these things matter. It measured how much they matter. Look at this table. Leadership and job satisfaction? Yeah, they have a solid impact. But look at the e-work environment. With a score of 0.621, its impact is nearly double the other two.
This is, without a doubt, the most powerful factor of all. So, we've got the data, we've got the verdict. The real question is, what do you do with this information? Well, let's turn these findings into a simple, actionable playbook.
Here you go, a simple 3-step plan. First, empower your leaders. Train them to build trust and communicate well in this digital world. Second, and this is the big one, build a better environment. That means investing in updated tools, better facilities, and a positive culture. And third, stop guessing about satisfaction. Actually measure it. Check in with your employees and then act on what they tell you.
Look, if you only take one thing away from all this, let it be this. All 3 keys are important, but if you want the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to building commitment, start with the e-work environment. That's where you've got the most power to make a real difference. And that leaves us with one final question, one for you to think about. When you look at your own job, or your team, or your company, which of these 3 keys do you think could unlock a whole new level of commitment? Which one is just waiting to be turned?